Hello, it's Jim Ryerson from Sales Octane, and welcome to Finish Line Friday. Now, last week I said that I would share why it is salespeople tend to ask a lot of closed-ended questions. And the key here is when you ask a closed-ended question, meaning it can be answered with a yes or a no, by definition, you have to talk again because you get the yes or the no. And we want the customer to be talking. So using those magic 7 words from last week, who, what, when, where, why, how, which, gets the customer talking. But we always find in conferences that when we have the salespeople write out questions that they ask, well over 50% are closed-ended. And the reason is because you're nice. You see, you were raised to ask yes or no questions. It started when you were about 2, maybe 3 years old, and you were taught to ask permission. You were taught to ask if you could leave the table. You were taught to ask if you could go outside and play. It was always permission-based questions. Now, about that same time, you also learned how you were going to cross your arms. So here's what I want you to do, as long as you're not driving. Just cross your arms. And there's no right or wrong way to cross your arms. But once you've got them crossed, I want you to count to 3 and then cross them the other way. 1001, 1002, 1003, go. Now, how does it feel? And if you're honest, you're going to say it feels awkward, feels uncomfortable. It's because you've been crossing your arms the same way since about the time that you were taught to ask for permission to get what you wanted. So now you enter the sales ranks, and there's this natural tendency to ask permission. Now, asking permission is a great thing to do in a civil society when you're trying to get water at a restaurant or teaching your children how to be polite. But when you're in a sales situation, you're not any less nice by asking open-ended questions. So here's the key. We want you to be nice and effective. And the only way to do that is to plan your questions. So make sure you follow the pre-call plan process that we began a few weeks ago. Write out those questions associated with your objectives, and then look at each one of them and modify them to begin with one of the 7 key words. Then your customer will begin sharing information. You'll have, for the first time ever, a lot of time to think as you take notes and begin to diagnose what your customer's pain or problem is. So I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel below. See you at the finish line.